So many people these days are using their garages as extensions of their home, right? We want the garage to reflect the really nice interior of our house. One way we can do that is by upgrading our garage floors. We're gonna do that today. The transformation is gonna be incredible and it's gonna add value to your home. This is Leanne, our homeowner, and her son, Daniel. Leanne, what do you wanna do here in the garage?
Well, this is the first place we arrive when we get home, and as you can see, it's not very inviting. We just want to make it look so much nicer, and I think a floor would do that.
So I think the first step is to
get rid of everything.
That's right, and Daniel has graciously volunteered, so let's get to work.
And just like that, Daniel and the guys from Scholar Painting and Restoration got to work and cleared everything out of the garage.
This is Vaughn, the owner of Scholar. Hey, Vaughn, thanks for helping us out here.
Glad to be here.
How are we going to help out Leanne with this floor? What are we going to do?
We're going to lay down a nice industrial grade epoxy to the floor.
Epoxy, that's going to be really super strong and last for a long time. So it's probably a big process. How do we do it?
Yeah, like with building a house, anything, a foundation is the most important thing. So first we get all the tools and garbage out of the garage and put it into the pod. Then we'll come back and profile the garage. With profiling is basically making a roughness of the surface.
So now in home centers, I've seen DIY versions of this. Can a homeowner do it? What's the difference?
Yeah, you definitely can. They sell a tremendous amount around the country, but most times they have an acid inside those kits. It's very harmful for the environment and for your skin. So you have to be careful with applying this. You have to wear protective tools and suits when doing this type of installation.
So if you guys aren't using acid, what are you going to use to really rough up the surface?
Yeah, we use industrial grade grinders we have and vacuums. So we bring our 32-inch grinder in. We'll profile the concrete in about a couple hours. And we also have HEPA vacuums as well, so there's no dust introduced to your house or to the environment.
All right, let's get going.
All right, the fellas have gotten the big guns out here. This is their big industrial diamond grinder. This will take off a little thin layer of the concrete that will even and level the floor. Plus, it improves the ability of the epoxy to adhere to the floor as well as remove any contaminants. Now, there are different blades you can put on these machines depending on the type of situation that you're in. Here, the guys have picked the blades they want and are installing them. Well, now it's just a matter of going slow and steady, but look at the difference in the floor after the grinder has gone over it. It's pretty amazing. Now for the tight corners and around the edges, they're using this handheld grinder that's hooked up to a HEPA vacuum. Now it's time for some cleanup. The next step is to put some blue taping around the edges so that epoxy coating doesn't get where we don't want it to go. Okay, so the epoxy itself is made up of two parts. It's a 1-to-1 ratio of glaze and epoxy. So this next step is to mix them up and apply the first coat on the floor, which is really just a moisture vapor barrier. In other words, really just a sealer coat. We'll come back and put another coat on later. And you can see while one of them squeegees on the epoxy, the other follows up with the back rolling, which really evens everything out. Now they have to work pretty quickly because this will start to set. And if you're wondering how the guys are going to walk around the floor while they're putting on this epoxy, here's the answer. They wear these spike shoes that have the least connection with the floor and ensure no footprints. Now it's just some finishing touches around the edges. And that's the first coat. See how that back rolling really just sort of evens out all that epoxy? Now here's my favorite part. It's time to spread these flakes on. The flakes come in all different colors and choices. Leanne went with this kind of blue, gray, white that I think looks really nice. And basically what happens is these flakes get broadcast, or basically sprinkled, on the newly applied epoxy. And look at that, that's some great form, Leanne. Now you can see they're putting on a heavy coat of these flakes because they want to make sure everything adheres to the epoxy, and later they'll come back and when it's dry, they'll scrape all of the excess flakes off.
Boy, this is looking so good already. So we're gonna let the epoxy dry overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish it up. Okay, so here we are, day 2. Everything is dried. The next step is the guys are gonna come in, they're gonna scrape off the extra flakes, clean it all up, put a finish coat on, and once that's dry, they're gonna go the extra mile and do some painting. We'll paint the beams here, some of the concrete, and finish the whole thing off with some nice baseboard trim. At that point, Leanne can come in and get her garage back.
And now here comes that scraping I was talking about earlier. You can see with this tool, he's scraping up any of the loose flakes, which will then be followed up by good vacuuming and then the next coat. The next step, and we're almost done, is some painting, which doesn't normally come with this surface, but like I mentioned, they're going a little bit above and beyond for our homeowner, Leanne. Finally, the baseboard goes down, and it's as easy as applying some adhesive and sticking it onto the wall. It just makes a nice clean transition from the wall to the floor. And look at that, what a transformation. It's clean, it's bright, and that floor will last at least 10 years. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. What
Looks
a
great.
transformation.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. And what you don't know is my family, they all enter through my garage. Our good friends all enter through our garage. They're going to be so wowed. What a difference. It's just beautiful.
Almost as beautiful as this donut.
Almost.
Now the only thing left to do is to move everything back in the garage.
Hi, House Call team. Just wanted to check in and say thank you so much. We love our new epoxy floor. It is gorgeous. I wanted to show you what it looks like now that we have everything in the garage. It is beautiful. It is stunning. And we get so many compliments on it. We just love it. So thank you guys so much. You did a fabulous, fabulous job.